Hey guys, it's Tim coming at you with another MCU related video, and this time I'm going to be asking the question that's probably been asked multiple times since Infinity War was announced: where do you go from there to continue the Marvel Cinematic Universe? The problem here is that Thanos is such a big threat in the Infinity War, or technically the Infinity Gauntlet, which it's more so based off of, is such a huge universal event that it's really hard to top that, and most audiences are going to want to see escalation. So, where exactly do you go from one of the biggest events in the Marvel Universe? Well, how about instead of escalation in terms of size of the event, we go for escalation in terms of number of threats presented. One of the big complaints about the MCU is that they don't feel that the villains have enough meat. They feel that they fill their purpose in the movie, but outside of Loki, they're not very memorable. So, why not fix that and do an Avengers-style crossover at the same time and bring us the Masters of Evil for Phase 4? Sure, they're not as big a threat as Thanos in terms of scale of the threat, but people love a good crossover, and like I said, this could be their chance to build up their villains. Don't kill them off at the end, and allow them to be the ones that are stated to be returning at the end of the movie, thus building stakes until we get to that point in the phase. We still have villains in the MCU that survive that people forget about, like Abomination is still around. They have a low chance of using him, but he's still there if they choose to use him. They have Justin Hammer, who could go the Armored Adventure route and become Titanium Man and feel the armored role on the team. The real Mandarin is still running around somewhere, and if they really wanted to, they could bring back someone as Red Skull. It probably won't be Hugo Weaving since he wasn't a fan of doing the role, but they could bring back someone to fill the Red Skull role in his place. Plus, there are still big roles that they haven't used yet in the MCU, like the Enchantress, who is a big-time member of the Masters of Evil. They could also use characters like Goliath or Screaming Mimi if they choose to. And in a clutch, they could also potentially bring back Yellow Jacket, since he only got sucked into the microverse and could potentially be alive. It's not likely, but it's possible. And they still have room to build their rogues gallery for the rest of Phase 3 and through Phase 4 to make this happen, so the Masters of Evil is definitely a route that they could take. But there is also other options they can go, like, if they want another big threat, why not bring in the Beyonder? He's a big, powerful guy in the Marvel Universe. He's the focal point of one of the biggest and most notable events in the Marvel Universe. And they just came off of the new Secret Wars, so the Beyonder definitely an option they can go with. Plus, since he's so powerful, it can give the heroes a chance to do some problem solving outside of just always killing off their villains, since they probably can't. And by bringing him in, they can do another big Marvel event like the Infinity Gauntlet, the original Secret Wars, build an event around that. They have Spider-Man now, so they can use this to introduce characters like Venom the way they were in the comics, as opposed to how they were in the animated series. And this would fall in line with the general theme of escalation from the previous threat, since Thanos is strong, but most of his really big power, the universe-changing power, comes from the Infinity Gauntlet. Beyonder can do that pretty much on his own, so he becomes a bigger threat automatically from that. Probably the biggest downside to using the Beyonder, though, outside of having to update his character design, but they did that fine in stuff like Spider-Man the Animated Series, so that's not a big thing. But probably the biggest problem with him is that, despite being the catalyst for one of the biggest comic book events, he is really not that notable outside of the comics, so they'd have to do a lot of building to make him as notable to people before bringing him up. And we're just coming off of another big space universe conquering threat, so why not have a threat that's a little bit closer to home, and at the same time be able to bring back villains that they already used, like with the Masters of Evil. And how they can do that this time is by doing the Secret Invasion. They have the Chitauri, they haven't fully expanded upon who they are or what they can do, so this can be a chance to do that. And in the Ultimate Universe, they were the stand-ins for the Skrulls, which they could be for this event. They're the shape-shifting alien threat that can take over the different roles that the Skrulls did and try to take over the planet from the inside out. And with Spider-Man in the MCU now, they can introduce Norman Osborn and then go straight from the Secret Invasion into the Dark Reign, where he takes over S.H.I.E.L.D., he makes his own Avengers team based off of the previous Avengers, but with villains in the roles. And the heroes, having lost trust in one another after the events of the Secret Invasion, could come together and build themselves back up again through this darker period of time, and also change the tone of the movies during this period as well, and really have them show their all through this. But those are just a few ideas that I'm throwing around, and keep in mind that there's no guarantee that there will ever be a deal between Fox and Disney to get any of the Fantastic Four or X-Men characters into the MCU, so characters like Galactus and Kang the Conqueror, they're pretty much out for the moment. So, with that in mind, what do you guys think? Where do you think the MCU should go with what they have right now? Do my ideas sound solid? Do you think that there's a better place that they can go to besides this? Well, remember to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think. And until next time, this has been Tim from the Hybrid Network, signing out.